Sathya, Dharma, Ananda, Prema, Shanti, Ananda.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. My life is my message, expansion is my love. My life is my message, expansion is my love. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. My life is my message, expansion is my love. My life is my message, expansion is my love. No reason for love, no season for love, no birth, no death. No reason for love, no season for love, no birth, no death. Sathya, Dharma, Ananda, Prema, Shanti, Ananda. Shirdi Sai, Sathya Sai, Prema Sai, Jai Jai. Shirdi Mama, Sathya Mama, Prema Mama, Jai Jai. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. My life is my message, expansion is my love.
No incident is too trivial to drive home the deepest lessons of life. But these lessons are often learnt the hard way, and let me narrate one such experience. One of the mandatory features of a Kodai trip was that Swami would invariably ask the boys to go shopping. While they would have accompanied Swami, he would give them money and say, go and buy what you want, and invariably they would buy things for their parents, mother, father, brothers, sisters, and he would encourage them to buy things. When they came back from the shopping trip, he would invariably ask what they had bought, and he would love to see what they had bought, like in a typical family. Many of the boys had bought shawls for their fathers or mothers, and the next day afternoon, he suddenly called me and told me, he said, go to those Tibetans and buy a few hundred shawls. We'll take them to Puttaparthi. We've all seen Swami here, always distributing something or the other to students, to devotees, to visitors on every possible occasion. And he wanted to take a few hundred of these shawls and bring it with him to Puttaparthi. So I was dispatched to the market. I went to the market and, like typically what like any of us would think, since we are buying a few hundred shawls, we have some bargaining power. So I tried to bargain. These Tibetans, they didn't have that much, they were not carrying that much of stock. And they said, we don't have, we'll get it for you. But instead of succeeding at my bargaining and getting a lower price, they started quoting a higher price. I said, what's wrong with you? I'm buying so many hundred. They said, no sir, we don't carry that kind of stock with us. So we got to go somewhere 55 kilometers from here and get it specially. So it's going to cost us, and that's why we're asking you for extra. I was very annoyed. I thought I had buying power. I was very annoyed at this attitude. So I came back and I started thinking, I said, if they're getting it from somewhere, let me find out where they're getting it from. So I spent the next couple of days trying to find out where they source their material from. And I found out that there is a factory which is about 55 kilometers from Kodai in the plains, from where they buy this material. So once in a week, once in 10 days, they make a trip to this factory, buy material, come back and set up the shop here and they sell. I said, why buy from them? Why not buy from that factory? It's going to be cheaper. After all, you're taking a few hundred pieces. So it's going to be cheaper. So I started making plans of how to send someone to that factory and get it from that factory and bring it. So I thought, okay, let it come. I had already sounded out a couple of people who would help us to get it from that factory. I said, let it come. When it comes, I'll tell Swami. Swami probably knew what was happening. And therefore, that day afternoon, he asks me, what happened to the shawls? I said, Swami, they didn't have so many. I was wondering how to tell Swami. So I said, Swami, they didn't have so many. No, did you place an order? I said, Swami, before we go to Parthi, we will be getting the shawls. How will you get the shawls? So then I had to tell the story. I said, Swami, they're getting it from this factory. The factory is 55 kilometers away. We are paying this price. They're not even willing to come down. Even 1 rupee, though we are buying so many hundred. So I'm making arrangements that we get it from the factory. I thought I'll get a pat on my back. That's what any CEO would have done to a good manager. And I thought I was being a very good manager with Swami's money. I said, Swami, we'll get it cheaper. And after all, everyone here knows how Swami uses every penny of the money that he gets into his trust very, very judiciously. So I thought I was doing something very nice. And in return, what do I get? I don't get a pat on my back. I get a kick on my back. I got the firing of my life. The ultimate lesson was, the message that Swami tried to drive home to me was, you don't know how these Tibetans work hard. They struggle. 2 months in a year, they get business. The rest of the time, there are no tourists coming here. They're working so hard. They're refugees. They've come from thousands of kilometers away and settled down here in South India. They come from the other end of the country. And you're trying to rob them from whatever little they earn by their hard work. You're trying to snatch away the food from their mouth. This was something totally and completely new to me, completely alien line of thinking. But here was Swami, who was used to saving every little penny in the work that he was doing, so that the money which comes into his trust is being used judiciously. But here he was, his compassion for these people overriding all the worldly considerations that people like us have. As Swami said to me that day, he said, you can think only in terms of money. You can't think in terms of anything else. But when I later narrated this incident to someone else, there was a background also to this incident which this person narrated to me. And this background was a trip to Kashmir that Swami had made some years before that. In Kashmir, he had come across again a similar group of Tibetans. And here was Swami himself facing those Tibetans. And he bought a shawl from those Tibetans. Since Swami was himself present there and he picked up a shawl from those Tibetans, and he asked them how much for it, they refused to take any money from Swami. And they said it is their only opportunity to give an offering to Swami. And they prayed that Swami accept that shawl. He accepted it. But when the Lord takes a little from you, He gives back many, many fold.